Nearly 8 years ago, a YouTube channel called Your Favorite Martian worked its way up to the top of the digital charts. It wasn't a newly created channel, as it had already existed for roughly 4 years prior. Nobody seems to know what the channel was initially made for, probably just being a spare until raywilliamjohnson, the creator of the once popular =3 viral video review series, considered developing music. Alongside this ambition, Ray eventually came across the idea of animating the songs with a set of digital characters that would portray the actions and personality behind the lyrics. This quickly became a huge success on YouTube, if not only for his already massive establishment on the site, but also the advantage of having an upload schedule of every 2 weeks. In terms of animation, that's very ambitious, though Ray himself would not be tackling this animation. This was done firstly by Ladybug Studios up until their 16th video, but that's further on in the story. Your Favorite Martian officially debuted on January 26 of 2011, and saw its very last video September 26, 2012. In total, there were 33 entirely original videos with 10 covers, 3 of which being remixes of their own tracks. The band also scored a short animated pseudo-sitcom with 11 episodes hosted on Animonster's YouTube channel, entirely untouched to this day. The series of videos ran their course for just 4 months short of 2 years, until their channel was renamed from Your Favorite Martian to This Project Has Been Retired in early 2013. But what happened? How did Your Favorite Martian fall off the front of YouTube after so many consecutive hits? Well, first it would help by looking into this little break they announced at the end of their very last upload. In this video called Boom Headshot, they announce a short departure to work on an entire album which had been in the workings at that point for 8 months. The intention was to take this time off to elaborate and establish the remaining work. If they had truly been working on the album for 8 months prior to this statement, it would have been around the time their hit Alien was released. That would be the public history of this break Your Favorite Martian took, but what you're probably here for is an explanation of what happened during this break which caused Ray to call the whole thing off. Well, this has many connections to Ray's primary channel at the time, =3. Despite the lower subscriber count, Your Favorite Martian was actually doing better and succeeding faster than Ray's primary content.
These little cartoons are now getting more views than =3. I didn't think that was possible, but it is.
This next part requires a little history to properly and effectively explain. Your Favorite Martian started as what you would call an indie project between Ray William Johnson and a studio. However, things began to change when Maker Studios, Ray's YouTube partner affiliate, began to take a couple liberties. YouTube partners were more important in the earlier days of YouTube. They were a solid source for monetization and spread, ultimately helping individuals succeed on the platform. Nowadays, YouTube itself is more in control of these processes, which is why you don't hear about partnerships nearly as much as you used to. One of the first external inclusions to Ray's project was a backup vocalist, who actually started as just an instrumentalist for the project. This was Cale, a smaller YouTuber affiliated with Maker Studios.
I remember they called me up and they were like, hey, we need you to make a song for Your Favorite Martian, the YouTube channel. And I was like, cool, here, do this song. I did another Your Favorite Martian song, and it performed really well again, and they called me up and they were like, hey, you should move to Los Angeles, we'll give you a studio near Venice Beach.
Soon after these events followed the biggest change in the band's history. Studio Ladybug ended their production on Your Favorite Martian after the 8-Bit World video released on August 10th, 2011. During the transition to a new production studio, Ray worked with an American filmmaker, Sam Macaroni, an affiliate with Maker Studios, to create Puppet Breakup, a live-action video using puppetized versions of the Your Favorite Martian band members to portray what would usually go down in one of their animated music videos. Ray was experiencing first-hand issues with Maker earlier than made public. Yes, this story does in fact involve a major conflict between Ray and Maker Studios, something which would eventually doom the project to its early retirement. Further down the line, Ray published a series of tweets that got things heated. It's thanks to these tweets that we know anything about this conflict in the first place. We were in the dark for so long because Maker Studios had expressed legal claims against those who spoke against them for trade libel, slander, and more. Ray said he never wanted to go public with the information, but stated that it was something he felt responsible for telling the YouTube community. As Ray put it, thuggish tactics were being used. Maker Studios then at the time approached Ray about their so-called requirement of a larger percentile from his =3 AdSense revenue. Ray stated that initially he was going to go through with it, but after the fact they then revealed to him that they had changed their minds and now wanted half of Ray's entire AdSense revenue for the remaining existence of the show, something he claims to have politely refused. Over a period of time, Maker Studios, according to Ray, had become increasingly aggressive. Eventually, this led to an unfortunate ultimatum. If he didn't sign one of their deals within 48 hours, they were going to shut down production on the album he was recording with their company. Ray was reluctant for longer than 48 hours, which doomed the album he had been working on for 8 months, as it was promptly cancelled after Ray could not agree to their propositions. There was another option, but Ray never specified what this option was. He did, however, state that it was equally as unfair. It just leads me to wonder, was Maker Studios actually that hard-pressed for cash, or were they just exceedingly greedy to the point of practically abusing their creators and staff? Eventually, Ray's contract expired with Maker Studios. That should have been it. He had his property back and could continue to make money on his own. But perhaps to no surprise, even this was a complication, as Maker Studios continued to refuse giving Ray back his AdSense account. This started a massive feud between Ray and Maker. In fact, it almost ignited a lawsuit. So of course, drama, drama, drama. And eventually, success. Not without this heavy and needlessly complicated process that resulted in no good for any of the parties involved, unless counting Ray's removal from Maker Studios, which wouldn't have been an issue had they not made everything so complicated in the first place. So, Maker Studios. Where are they now? Well, they were actually purchased by Disney in 2014, with all expenses adding up to about $675 million in profit. So did this acquisition do the company any justice with broken promises? Seemingly not. More recently, Maker has encountered even more roadblocks. The acquisition changed a number of things in the company, such as having thousands of creators skewed and cut down to only 300. Leadership changes at Disney did not help either, especially since the man responsible for the acquisition deal, Jay Rasulo, left in June of 2015. Maker created promises for social media stars by giving out six-figure guarantee minimums, where tens of millions of promised dollars have still yet to be paid off. That is, if they ever will be. Towards the end of 2016, Disney actually reduced Maker into a line of consumer product development. Some have speculated that in the future, Maker will only serve as a digital and social marketing division for Disney. This sort of situation has many definitions, but a more easily recognizable one would be karma. So in closure, what happened to Ray William Johnson? Did he just give up on Your Favorite Martian and move to other ideas? Well, temporarily, yes. As mentioned, he took to Facebook for viral success, turning his YouTube into a place for vlogs where he documented his personal life and projects. However, some of these vlogs delved into topics directly related to his old work, even Your Favorite Martian specifically. He and Jesse Cale, known as McSwagger and in Your Favorite Martian as Benatar, met up at one point in one of his comedy tours, performing Alien together one last time for the live audience. It's a heartwarming watch, and this is perhaps what inspired Ray to continue his endeavors in the creation of music. 3 months later after this reunion, Ray announced a new project he was undergoing, which he titled Fat Damon. He would then go to release 2 songs with related music videos coming out shortly after. These were Conspiracy Theory Guy and Fred Astaire, the first of which featured a return from Wax, who assisted Ray in his Your Favorite Martian project with Orphan Tears and Stalking Your Mom. And that's where things pretty much come to an end. Maker's in a struggle, Cosmic Toast was shut down, and Ray? Well, Ray's doing his own thing now. Thank you for watching.